Hello YouTube, this is Brian Tubbs coming at you with another video. Hey, today I'm making the piece that I was in the last video I was talking about. I took slope apart and I'm going, as opposed to having two pieces stacked, I'm going with three pieces stacked. And this is the piece I'm making now. This is going to be the top piece. It's shaped like all the other pieces. It's just a little bit smaller and not as long because I don't want that much weight to be on the very top. Let me show you the other piece that I was making on the last video. And I got that one finished. Okay, and this is the piece that I showed in the last video. It was 8 inches width, but I took and I cut 2 inches off of the side, and this outer wall that was on the outer side here, I just cut that wall off and welded it to here after I cut those 2 inches off. So this is that piece that I was working on yesterday, and this is core 10, and this will be in the second position on the piece. So if you didn't see that video, you probably need to just go back one video and take a look at what I'm talking about. And this is the next piece that is going to sit on top of that piece as it goes up. So there's a base piece on the ground. There's a piece that rolls out this way. This piece is going to sit on top of that piece. And then this piece is going to sit on top of that piece going up. And I told you guys in the last video when I was doing all this work on this thing that I would probably shoot another video, let you guys know where I am in the process. Either the piece would be almost done or somewhere in the process. So I'm in the process of making the last piece to go on top. And the issue that I had today is I've cut out both pieces for the side, so they'll be here like this. Then I'll extend them out 6 inches wide with the 16 gauge down the center and on the back side. And so the problem I had today, right before shooting this video, is what I do is I'll take a piece of rope, just regular rope that you would tie something up with, and I'll measure from one end all the way over the arc to the other end. Now I'll take that rope. I'll show you guys just for example. All right, so the way we do it is we'll take our ruler, measuring tape, extend it out. Then we'll take this piece of rope, start from one end and follow the arc all the way around till we get to the other end. Take our finger and we'll mark it. So now we know how long this outer arc is. Then we'll take it, we'll put it on our ruler or measuring tape, whatever we're using. Put it on there, extend it all the way out, and that'll give you the outside arc of that. And this is at 40 inches. So I need to cut a piece of core 10, whether it's core 10 or stainless steel or mild steel, whatever it is. In this case, I'm going to be cutting core 10, and I want it to be 6 inches wide because I want it to match this other piece that's 6 inches wide. So I'm going to mark out 40 inches, 6 inches wide, and I'll make that cut. Then I'll bring it in, put it on, weld it on. And then on the inside with this arc, I'll do the same thing. I'll measure from this point with the rope to this point, pinch with my finger, put on measuring tape, measure it out, and go and make the cut. Well, the problem I had today was, as they say, you should always measure twice, cut once. But when you're dealing with exotic metal, that's pretty expensive, you want to measure 4 or 5 times and cut once. So what I did was I took my rope, measured it out, and as opposed to writing that number down right away, I didn't. I measured it out, and then I measured the inside and had that number in my head, and then I walked over and marked the numbers, the dimensions on the metal. So the outside, I have on here 35.5 inches long. On the inside, it's 26.5 inches long. Well, when I measured this outside, I knew that it was 39.5 inches, almost 40 inches. So I said, I'll go 39.5. And then I knew on the inside it was 26.5. So I made my cut at 26.5 for this inside piece. But what I didn't do is measure a second time. So I went out there and made the cut, and the piece is lying on the table right here. It's on this side. On this side is hanging off the table. I cut it to 35.5 inches. So then I brought it in here, put it in the English wheel, got my got the arc on it, so I can just put it on there and just start welding up. I was going to make a video, but after I cut it short, I got so upset, I just said, I don't know if I'm going to make a video. But then I said this would be a good video to make because people need to know that before they cut this metal, measure it 2, 3, 4 times. So when I got in here, I put this piece of metal on here. I had this piece clamped to the table. I was going to just lay it on there and just start tacking it up. Put it on there, and I didn't tack it. I just put it on there just to see what it would look like. And it's about 6 inches, almost 6 inches too short. Now, the first time I measured this, it was 39.5. When I measured the second time after I made the bad cut, it was 40 inches. Where that half inch came from, I don't know. So what I'm gonna have to do now is, as opposed to cutting another strip at 40 inches, I'm going to add, I need, it was 35.5, so I need about 6 more inches to get it to that, somewhere around 41, somewhere in there. What I'm going to do is just add 8 inches. I'll be over what I need. I need 40. I'll be over. But I'd rather be over than under. So I'm just going to take my TIG welder. I clamped it all down. I got a straight edge, ran it along the outer edge of this to make sure it's straight. Because just putting the 2 cut pieces butted together, the line is straight. They made up really nice, but that doesn't mean that this line is cut straight. It could be on a slight angle. So if I just go by the line, just putting these 2 lines together, weld it up, and then get ready to put this onto here, I could have like my 35.5 inch piece straight, and that 8 inch piece could be cocked going up because I just looked at that line. So what I do is I'll lay it on the table, get that line as tight as I can because I'm going to be TIG welding it. Then I'll take a straight edge and run the straight edge down the side of it, about a foot or 2 on both pieces, so I can be sure that these 2 pieces are straight, not just on that line, but straight going down the outer edges of it. Because when I get done, I want to just be able to lay it on here, tack it on, cut the excess off and move on to the other piece. I don't want to have to cut all the welds that I just made, make another cut on this metal to get it straight, and then try and piece it back together. So it's best to make sure this line is straight and make sure it's straight going this way. So what I gotta do now, like I said, is just start tacking this together. I could MIG weld it, but I know I will have some pinholes after I MIG weld it, so I'm just gonna just TIG weld it up. And if I'm TIG welding, I want it butted together, tight. If I'm MIG welding, I'll have a slight gap in it about the thickness of the MIG wire that I'm using. I normally use 0.035 wire, so I have about a 0.035 gap there. But when I'm TIGging, I'll just suck them up together so I can just burn it in. And again, I clamp it down tight so it won't raise up or do anything like that. So after I weld it, I'll leave these clamps on here, let it cool down, and then I'll take my grinder and smooth it out. I'm set at 70 amps. I think I'm gonna kick it up because I want good penetration. I want it to penetrate all the way through because I don't want to have to weld on the back side. So that's where I am right now, and I'm making a video just to let you guys know when you're dealing with metals like this. I mean, if it's mild steel, it's not going to cost you that much. But when you're dealing with core 10, this is a 4x10 sheet of core 10, and I'm just cutting strips out of it, and whatever I need to cut out of it, I'm trying to make it last as long as I can and get as many sculptures out of it as I can. And I don't want to have to throw anything away or just mess up stuff, and that's just throwing money away. So when I'm dealing with core 10 or stainless steel or aluminum, I really just try and be careful on my measurements and my cuts. But for some reason today, I know what. I woke up this morning at 3 o'clock and couldn't get back to sleep for 3 or 4 hours. That's what it is. I'm just tired. I'll use that excuse. But again, before you guys make your cut, measure it, measure it, measure it. So what I'm gonna do now is just go ahead and just start tacking this up. I'll just let you guys see a little bit of that. And then I'll have to end the video so I can go ahead and finish everything up. Then I'll shoot another video once I get it, more in position where I can maybe tack it in or something like that. All right, let me go ahead and turn this other camera on, and I'll go ahead and get started. All right, just grab my clamp. Here we go. I'm just going to just tack it up. Hit the corners, and I'll just kind of move around. And what I'm going to do is build the weld up tall so when I grind it, I won't have a low spot where the two pieces are put together. If I need to grind it and it'll be a low spot, and then I'll just go back over again and build it up taller. Because I do not want it to look like there was anything added here. So what I'm doing now is just adding a lot of tacks, because if I, even though it's clamped down, if I start on this edge and start working my way this way, the metal is going to want to move on this side because of all that heat. So I'm just going to put as many tacks in here as I can, and then I'll go back and connect everything together. This is 16 gauge core 10. If it was like 11, 10 gauge, even 12 gauge, I would tack it in a few spots and just run with it. But this being 16, it doesn't like a lot of heat. So I just gotta work my way into it from the backside. I love Tig welding and MIG welding and gas welding, anything else, but I don't like making mistakes like this. I mean, we all make mistakes. That's why they have erasers on pencils, because we all make mistakes, but it just wastes time having to go back and add a piece. Had I measured a second time like I normally do, I normally measure and then I'll measure again just to be sure before I put my marks on the metal. But for whatever reason, again, I guess I was just tired. But here I am sitting here. It's going to take at least 30 minutes to do this, at least, before I can get back to that. Had I not made this mistake, this would have been welded up, tacked up everywhere, and I would have cut the top pieces, and I would have been ready to just TIG. I would have made this video on just TIGging the piece up as opposed to making it on fixing this piece of metal. But that happens. So I'm going to just go ahead and make a run across now. So I think I have enough tacks. So I just got to just focus in real quick. Just trying to run as fast as I can. Trying to get in, get out before that metal starts trying to move. I'm full on pedal. So I think I'm pushing 75 amps. Just trying to get it in, just burn it in, and move on out. I think that's not too bad. I could have gone hotter, but I just don't want to put too much heat into this 16 because it'll warp in a minute. Now this is high here because I had already put my my bend in it to go with the arc on that. So it's kind of raised up, so that's not from the heat, that's just from it being on that English wheel, being rolled. This is not too bad, so nice and cool. So I think it'll be okay. But again, guys, those mistakes can happen. And so what you have to do is if you, just say for example, if I didn't have more metal, I had two choices I could have made. I could have either gone out and cut another piece at 40 inches, or I could have, did it the way I did it, 35 and a half, and I needed another, four and a half to get it to 40. But I just, like I said, just cut a piece of at 80, 8 inches to add on. So I had a choice. And to be able to do this is a lot better than going out there and wasting another 40 inches of metal because I cut the darn thing too short. So if you run into this problem, just get your MIG welder, your Tig welder, whatever you have, and just splice a piece on to what you already have that you cut. I made a video, gosh, it was not too long ago. I was working on some stainless steel. I was making this piece, I think it was the Heart of Man, and I was short on my outer arc pieces. A couple of my pieces were short. So I could have gone to the metal supply and bought another sheet of stainless steel just to get a couple little pieces out. Or like I did, I just went through my pile of metal and found some pieces of 14 gauge, and I just spliced it in. Tigged it in, ground it down, touched up little pinholes, ground it down, and you never would know that it was a piece spliced in. So what you can do is, before you run into a situation like this, when you have some spare time, just get a few pieces of scrap, butt them up, and just practice. Just make sure you clamp them down to the table, because if you don't and you start welding them, they're going to want to raise up either from the center up this way, or these outer edges, outer legs are going to want to kick up. So just clamp it down, put a lot of tacks on it. Just tack it everywhere. If I had more time, I would have just tacked the whole thing. I would have just put tack here, here, going down. Tack the edge, tack this edge, middle. I would have just kept adding tacks until the whole thing was complete. But I don't want to spend that much time doing it, so I just tacked it as you saw, put a lot of tacks on it, and just went ahead and closed everything off. So that's going to do it for this video. I just want you guys to see and hear about the blunder I made, and just give you guys an idea of what I do to kind of cover my mistakes. And that's a good thing when you can fix mistakes like this by having the skill to splice some pieces together, grind them, and you'll never even know that they were put together. All right, guys, so hopefully on the next video, I will have this further along. It'll either be complete, or I'll be tigging up this piece or something like that. I'll have something for you guys. But if I'm finished with this, I'll show you a picture, or shoot a little video of what it looks like, the final product. Then I'll show you guys what I'm going to be doing next. I'm not sure yet, but I think I'll do another curl piece, some kind of crazy curl piece or something, another large outdoor sculpture. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this one. And as usual, peace out.